Hey everyone, welcome back to another Stock Market Open Live. Wow, so we just had Disney earnings, and looks like some of the market is driving a little bit red after some of these earnings. Specifically, you've got Disney down about 5.3 on a subscribers miss, and we also have Palantir really giving up a lot of its gains yesterday. It's going to set up for some interesting trade opportunities today we'll be paying attention to. Now, I want to make a quick note. I will be releasing a video here. It's taken me a lot longer to put together than I thought it would. I'm going to try to start doing these morning, I'm going to call them Meet Kevin reports. And my first one that I'm going to post, it covers like Trump going to jail, Putin nukes, Gaza and Israel and the ceasefire deal, covers Palantir earnings, Buffett on Apple, all these sort of topics. It's really good. But my goodness, it was about like, to get it condensed was about 35 minutes. Probably took me about an hour or more to film, and then like 4 hours of just sort of like research and work that went into it. So anyway, I'm excited to post that. I'll post that, I don't know, probably within the next 20 minutes or so, and just sort of just, you could watch it after this. But it'll be there. But yeah, anyway, boy, I really thought I'd be able to post that by 5, and I was not able to, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, we don't really have any data releases here. 5:30 a.m. I know in California time here is usually a time for data releases. No real big data releases. Biggest thing here is just going to be earnings and reacting to earnings. You do also have the Apple event today, so we'll pay attention to the Apple event. And what's expected there. But let's go start with Disney earnings and see what's going on there. Again, the Palantir earnings we'll cover in the other video, which will be posted soon. In fact, I think it's almost fully processed. Yeah, it is. Oh, okay. All right, well, yeah, give it another minute or so here, and then I'll post it. So let's take a look at Disney here. So Disney, their Q2 EPS actually guided higher. So adjusted EPS for the second quarter. Wait, hold on a sec. Did they just report Q2, or is Q2? Yep, sorry, they just reported Q2. That always gets confusing when they use these bizarre calendars. It drives me nuts. I really hate it, but whatever. So Q2 subscribers came in at 153.6 million versus the 155.66 expected. And a Q2 adjusted EPS did beat at a $1.22, or sorry, $1.21 versus the $1.12 expected. So you had a beat on Disney on the bottom line, but those subscribers missed. Not only did they miss for the Disney Plus section, but they also missed on Hulu. So you had a subscriber miss on Hulu, which was 4.5 mil versus the 4.6 expected. So they did gain initially after beating on adjusted EPS. Their operating income beat at 2.29 billion, 2.29 bill versus the 2.27 bill of operating income. Their Disney experiences beat. So you had these initial metrics that came in strong, but unfortunately, when you miss on that SaaS segment, you end up getting sadness from the stock. So not a terrible surprise. They are also mentioning, which I thought was very interesting, they mentioned here not seeing consumer struggles. This is one of the things that I generally like to pay attention to when it comes to earnings calls, earnings reports, and what's going on, is I like to go through the earnings calls and see, hey, what's actually happening with the company's forecast. Because remember, when companies report earnings, what they do is they also generally give you insight into how the current quarter is going. Think about it. Disney just reported, and we're already 5 weeks into the quarter. So when they're doing these earnings calls, they already know how the next quarter is going, and is it trending along expectations or not. And if it's not, then they often give you some form of a hint. If it is, then they also give you some kind of hint. And so here what we have is the CFO suggesting they are not seeing struggles with the consumer, which is good. We don't want to see those cracks in the consumer yet. Although it's possible you see the cracks in jobs first. Let's see here. Don't see an impact of streaming price hikes. It's more sort of acceptance of raising prices. No impact from price hikes. That's, you know, there's this big debate about, like, is that greedflation, or is that a company just sort of like raising prices because everybody's raising prices? I think that's reasonably debatable, but generally I think that greedflation is when you sort of have one company that's raising prices because they you know, they individually feel like they can, and then they end up getting smoked by competition. Whereas, you know, if everybody's raising prices, then your dollar just lost value, and that seems to be more of a government problem or a spending problem. So anyway, okay, let me post this, call it the Meet Kevin report. I think it's pretty good. Broke it down into timestamps as well. So anyway, I'll post that. Okay, so that's live on the main channel now. But anyway, so let's focus on some of these morning items here. So Disney now down 5.4. You've also got these reports of more layoffs potentially hitting Tesla a little bit as we broke under that 183. Now, what's interesting is yesterday we talked about how important that 183 level was, and we actually ran up above 183, getting rejected at 187, and we basically went right back to 183. 183 is such a magnet for Tesla. Would have been a good, easy trade if you saw it at 187 and you thought, you know what, I'm going to go short. It's tough, though. I remember yesterday morning, we had the Qs and NVIDIA. Everything was running in the morning. Started getting a topping out really about an hour into trading. And so you could have taken advantage of following some of the lines there. Big fan of trust the lines is what I always like to say. Trust the lines, and the lines will take care of you in your trading. It's definitely, that's one of the largest drivers of the trade alerts that I send in the Stocks and Psych group. Remember, obviously, we're not promising you're going to make a lot of money in the Stocks and Psych trade alerts. How you trade is ultimately up to you, but I do send those alerts when I see those sort of trends, and I pull the trigger on them. So I love doing those. We just did what was it? I think our last trade was Friday. Picked up 4x on an end phase trade. That was pretty cool. So we'll see what we can pull off today if we get some trades going here today. So that's Disney. I want to see what else we've got for earnings on the calendar. So we got Disney on the calendar. I think Celsius was up as well. Let me see if their numbers are out. Individual company news. Celsius. Wow, Celsius misses. You know, one of the, like, I actually loved the numbers that I saw at Celsius on their actual financial statements, but I didn't make an investment into the company because I was always worried that Celsius would potentially be affected by the sort of figs fad, I call it. The figs fad is, you know, during the pandemic, everybody was going crazy for figs, and even before that, in wearing figs clothing. So, you know, scrubs, basically. So, let me see here. Fig scrubs. Let's see if we could do let's see if this comes up. There we go. Anyway, my concern back with figs was that if you invest in figs, what you're really doing is you're investing in a trend, a fad, something that could potentially become less desirable over time. And unfortunately, when those growth rates slow down, the company stocks can really get punished. Look at the month chart on figs. It's basically IPO and hype era of 2021, straight down since then, going from, you know, nearly $50, actually $50 at one point, all the way down to $4.30. So that makes me concerned about fad-based trends. That doesn't mean that Celsius is fad-based, but it does mean that there is a lot of competition for Celsius, whether they're Prime Energy drinks or Monster Energy or whatever it is, Red Bull to some extent, 5-Hour Energies, whatever. So I get concerned in those sort of markets, and I personally stay away from them. It doesn't, again, make them a bad investment, but it's something that I think of when I think of a company like Celsius. So Celsius, we see Q1 revenue. Let's actually look at the numbers here. Q1 rev comes in at $355.7 million. And the estimate was $390.5 million. It's a pretty solid miss there. And let's take a look at what they say if they give a reason why. And they often do. So let's see here. Celsius, Investor Relations. These companies know when their stock's going to go down and they're going to miss. So They generally respond to it. Okay, let's see here. Quarterly report, May 7th. I'm going to go to the 8K. The reason I'm going to go there is that's where I'm going to probably get commentary from their press release. That's their earnings call. Come on, where's the press release link? Investor presentation. Here we go. Okay, do they give commentary on it? No, they really don't. They got it somewhere here. Hold on a sec. Press releases. Excuse me. My goodness. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, got it. All right, let's take a look at this together here. So this is the press release for Celsius. Okay, Celsius Energy. Celsius reported its best first quarter, driving record revenue. So still growing incredibly. Don't get that wrong. It's just not up to the expectations, I guess, of Wall Street. Gross margins, expanding globally, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Revenue for the first quarter increased 37%. Company success in sustaining demand growth. Okay, what is this? So, offset by inventory movements with our largest distributor in the first quarter. What do we have here? $20 million impact. Okay, here we go. What is this? So, offset in part by inventory movements with our largest distributor, where first quarter inventory days on hand declined versus fourth quarter, resulting in a $20 million impact, while the first quarter of 2023 revenue benefited from inventory buildup. Interesting. Okay, so they're not actually blaming a demand issue or trend issue, even though that's my largest concern for a company like this. They're actually blaming inventory here. So what they're really saying is, hey, if we had enough Celsius product on hand, we would have been fine. But what we did is we compared 2024 to 2023. Here, you can watch me sort of write this out together here. What we did is we had this. There we go. We'll do this. How should we write this? Okay, so let's say Q1 2023 comp. So that's the comparison, right? Had plenty of inventory. Inventory buildup was their phrase. But Q1 2024 had a shortage of inventory, resulting in an about $20 million hit. Now, that's actually really interesting because if you look at how they're describing this, look at the miss. Note the miss was, I guess we could actually use this one. The miss was 390. That was about 30. It was a little more than that. All right, what do we at here? 390.5 minus 355.7, 34.8. 34.8 mil. So they're blaming about a $20 million portion of that on... Oh, they use WordPress. How funny. On inventory. Ongoing inventory fluctuations may continue to hit sales. However, retail sales of Celsius grew. I mean, that's a really good growth. They're growing like crazy. International sales grew 43%. Let's write that down. So, total rev up 37%. Year over year. International up 43% year over year. Gross profit up 60%, and the numbers are amazing. I mean, the growth is just really good. This is what concerns folks though, is if you slow down the growth. Now Q4, for whatever reason, they do that. Look at that. You know, that flattening in Q4, flattening in Q4, flattening in Q4. So for some reason you have that. Question is, can you sustain that crazy growth rate? I wonder what their forecast is. Share growth, 11% market share. What do they forecast? Celsius sales on Amazon increased 30%. See, that's a great way to sell a product like this. Big fan of that. I'll write that down. So that's 30% more sales on Amazon this quarter. Let's see here. What do they give for guidance? Do they give guidance? Growth drivers. Share growth. No. I don't think they actually gave guidance. I mean, they might on the earnings call. Oh, they're from Boca Raton. That's cool. Yeah, interesting. Let me see if I can find Celsius guidance. Earnings. No, let me see if let me look at their forecast and what they're selling for. So if we go to, then we'll know a little bit of a PEG ratio as well of what they're going for. So let's do, okay, let's see here. Growth is expected to be pretty high on EPS growth. So forecast EPS growth is 100% over 4 years, so 25% a year average. Wall Street consensus EPS growth is 25% per year over the next 4 years. Okay. And then they're currently trading for 78 point, well, I mean, now they're selling for a little less. What are they trading for right now? So the stock's down about 6%, trading for about 73 bucks, divided by $1.12. Trading for about 65.63 times on a PE basis. So you're at about a 2.6 peg. 2.6 peg. And that revenue growth per Wall Street is expected to slow. Revenue growth over the next 4 years is only expected to be, ooh, that's interesting, 19.4%. So that explosive growth may be coming to an end. That is not great. So look at that. Let's go back to that chart. That's the sales chart. Okay, let's throw that right here. That gets punished on Wall Street when growth comes to an end. Okay, there we go. 1 second. I want you to see the chart. Again. That is this one. This is basically... Probably. I mean, I wonder if you could almost overlay the stock. No, the stock's really been running since about 2020. The stock's really run since about here. So as their sales have been booming, the stock's been straight up. It's been a very, very like solidly performing stock. It's just at some point, Wall Street's going to wake up and say, wait a minute, do we want to pay a 2.6 peg for, a drink company? Sometimes we do. Usually you get these sort of valuations for SaaS, like artificial intelligence, and recurring and repeat revenues. So I'll make a little note here. So note, I usually like to use 1.67 for PEG ratio for manufacturing companies and a 2.6-ish PEG for SaaS businesses. Remember the difference there. A SaaS business doesn't they could do nothing and still get that recurring revenue. Whereas a manufacturing business has to keep manufacturing to make their revenue. So that's why you generally pay a little bit more for SaaS. So that's interesting on Celsius. Yeah, very cool. So let's see here. Somebody, where did this come from? Somebody in the chat's like, Kevin, how early did you get married in life? Well, I met Lauren when I was 16, and I got married when I was, when did I get married? 2000, so we've been on like 21. Celsius is still the best tasting and best effect energy drink out there. Yeah. I like it too. You get a lot of competition. It's a pretty competitive market. Lots of folks use it for pre-workout. Somebody says, doesn't that have arsenic in it? Oh, no. Kevin on Microsoft today, bullish Microsoft. That's funny. They're funny comments. If product supply was the issue, why were they giving it out for free the other day at a derby party? Well, I mean, it's hard to say that one event where they're giving it away as part of marketing is necessarily an indication that their inventory problems are solved. You could have excess inventory in one location and a lack of inventory in another. But let's see what's going on with their marketing spend. It's an interesting idea. So their marketing spend moved from about $69 million to $99. Marketing spend was up about 43%. So I guess we could write that down too. Some other things. Marketing spend up 44% year over year. And then what else? We've got net income. They do make money. You got to give them credit. They do make money. Net income, $77.8 million in the quarter. Pretty dang good. I mean, their net margin, 77.8 divided by 355.7. 77.8 divided by 355.7. Dang, they take 21.8% to the bottom line. It's really good margin for basically sugar water, right? Net income to bottom net income. It's impressive. I'll give them that. So, I'd be careful about paying too high of a peg on them, but they're doing pretty well. All right, next, we have, what do we have next? So let's see how they're moving here. You've got, okay, look, they're trying to recover a little bit here. You've got 4.9% here is what you're down. Okay. Private equity firm Circle Peloton for potential buyout. That doesn't surprise me. The CEO just stepped down, too. 13 straight losses? Yikes. Yeah. Simply had no other way to bring its spending in line with its revenue. Wow. How's their stock doing? Oh, the stock's up like 16% in the pre-market. People are enthused by the potential of buyout. But, you have to be careful about that. You hear those rumors and then it just, if it doesn't come to fruition, you're screwed. All right, what else is going on with the sticky dudes today? BT Sizzle. BT Sizzle. Oh, a little bit of a decline here. We were at 64 when I was up at like 4 a.m. All right, what about over here? What do we got? Let's listen in.
From whatever of the two parties wins after that.
Can I ask you one final question? And I was just thinking about Google right now. We were having a whole conversation earlier in the broadcast about what's happening in college campuses and the like. And it occurred to me that there was this incident at Google actually a couple weeks ago where they fired some employees. But you've been there for a very long time, and we're talking about corporate America and how they deal with these very contentious issues inside the business.
In order for America to win, people are going to have to show up at work, and they're going to have to work hard in a professional context. Somehow during COVID, we forgot those lessons. Google is a business. I strongly support the decisions I wasn't there that made, right, because people have to understand there's stuff that you do at work and stuff that you don't do at work. It's pretty straightforward. You and I live that life. I think this is another generation that will learn the same lesson.
Eric Schmidt, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Great to see you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Becky?
It'd be interesting to see what kind of, what's it called? What kind of AI, like, we're really going to see in the election. I find that really interesting. So we'll see. All right. So what else? Let's see here. Okay. So looking at other news. Bonuses, U.S. stock futures, signal pause, and rate fueled rally. Yeah, we don't have a lot of green this morning. Seems like a lot more red. I mean, look at Disney tanking right here. It's going right back to that 107 line. So you got a tank on Disney. The Qs actually are only down 3 bips. It's not that bad. Palantir's obviously getting whacked. Piton's running on buyout hopes. ARM's at 108. Apple at 120. But keep in mind, the Apple event is today. So usually you have buy the rumor, sell the news. So personally, if I was going to, look for a buy the dip on Apple, I'd probably be waiting for, what's it called? Some form of sell-off after that event. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what they announce. Personally, I hope that they come out with a larger iPad. That would be really cool. Big fan of larger iPad. Not a lot of people. I don't know. I mean, like, would you be interested in a larger iPad? I personally like. I like them for PDF work, but then again, not everybody does. Not everybody is into PDFs and using annotation software. Lately, I've been really into using PDF Expert. They're good. Like, PDF Expert is fire. I used to use GoodNotes, but they ruined that app with Update 6. Oh my gosh, GoodNotes 6 sucks. Bad. So, oh well. Oh well, that's what happens when you ruin something good. It's your fault. Maybe they'll come back and fix it. I think they tried rushing to get AI involved in their business, and it was just a mistake. And then they tried to start charging for an app that people had already paid for. They wanted people to pay a subscription for AI, and the AI's I'm finding it just annoying. A lot of the AI summaries just aren't great. Sometimes I almost feel like they're regressing. Like, I'll use GPT-4. It's like, yes, summarize this. And then last year it was great. Now I'm like, dude, what? Now it's bad. So I don't know. I don't know sometimes what's happening. Oh well. One day it'll be even better. But you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of suggesting that this AI revolution is just going to be straight up and to the right. I think it's just going to kind of come in little phases. So we shall see. All right, what else? Let us see here. Next up, we have. Why is this like this? Let's go here. Oh, look, they're talking Disney.
In the fiscal third quarter, they also said they don't expect to see subscriber growth in the quarter. And as the linear networks continue to struggle, excluding ESPN, operating income at those networks fell 22% in the fiscal second quarter. Now, entertainment streaming, though, is a bright spot with $47 million in direct-to-consumer profits from Disney Plus and Hulu. The company saying that the division will be a meaningful growth driver for the company with further improvements in profitability in the next fiscal year. Here is what CEO Bob Iger said just moments ago.
We also remain on track to reach profitability in our combined streaming businesses in Q4. We've said all along our path to profitability will not be linear. And while we're anticipating a softer third quarter, due in large part to the seasonality of our India sports offerings, we fully expect streaming to be a growth driver for the company in the future, and we have prioritized the steps necessary to achieve this.
We still didn't get any details on the streaming sports joint venture that is set to launch in the fall or the ESPN flagship that they are launching next year, the flagship streaming service. Now, as for the parks division, CFO Hugh Johnson just said on the call moments ago, quote, "We are seeing some evidence of moderation from peak post-COVID travel," but he did go on to say that they do expect operating income growth to rebound significantly in the fiscal fourth quarter. So guys, between that and the streaming warnings about the fiscal fiscal third quarter, it looks like it might be one more rough quarter in that business, but then everything sort of turning around by fiscal fourth quarter. So that kind of lumpiness that Iger warned about.
That's a good hope. It's hopium. It's hopium, my friends. Hey, you know what? Maybe it'll work. I don't know. I mean, do people still feel as passionately about cancel Disney as they used to? Is anybody here still anti Disney as much as they maybe were back in 2023 with the DeSantis fight? I'd be curious to see what people think about that. I like, I was just at, I took some of the employees over to Islands of Adventure in Florida when we were there for our event. We had some extra time. That's a great place. What a fun place. Hope you go there if you've never been. You gotta ride the Velocicoaster and the good old Hulk. I like to call it the island. So do all of us. But anyway, so that's a fun place. But would we have as much fun at Disney? That's the question. All right, what else? So, Peloton, again, rising on those buyout talks. Embraer is at $27.50. Embraer just keeps going. So, Peloton, and we'll make a quick note on this here. Up 17, 18% on buyout rumors. Yeah, just make the additional quick note here. Rumors are dangerous and often dump. Yeah. Okay. Embraer keeps running. Apple 1-2. Kind of excited for the Apple event. I think it starts at like 7. iPad event. Let's see what's going on there. It'll be during our course member live stream. Palantir down 11.5%. You know what? It's one of the things I was saying yesterday. Yesterday morning, we were seeing a little bit of a Palantir pump, and that Palantir pump ran. I mean, look at that. We were at the 24-27 line, and it was like liftoff, baby. We just kept going. Yeah, usually when you really run into earnings, you've kind of already priced in perfection. It's not good. Any thoughts on Reddit earnings later today? Oh, man. Well, same thing. I mean, it depends how it's been moving. I don't actually think they're... I mean, unless they sign some massive new contracts, I don't think their ability to push revenues will be that substantially different. Now, all it would take is for them to have signed like one mega new contract and started recognizing some revenue for it to beat. So it's a tough one to play because I think if you don't have a new contract, you're probably going down. If you do have a contract and you're able to recognize some EPS beat, that'd be great. But then again, you're still expecting a loss at the company. So usually money losing gets punished. Especially in this environment, I'd probably lean negative on it. Tough one to play, though. You're expecting at least a 13% move on it after they report. So let's see what we've got here on trends for the company. So where are we? Let's try an hour. Let's try the hour chart. Yeah, okay. 57. So there's your upside. 57.82. That was really just where you IPO'd, though. That's not too useful. You've been on this uptrend since about $37. So you got the moving average. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I think for them, biggest thing is got to show that you can actually monopolize, or maybe not monopolize, but monetize is the right word, AI. And if you can't, you're going down. You're going down big. Talk about TMF. Yeah, TMF has been doing well. And one of the reasons is you've had the 10-year bond yield just topping out. And that dovish Powell really helped. I mean, knowing that we have a lid on rates. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's absolutely moved us down over here. So, great news for TMF. Let's listen in here for a moment.
Stocks down this much is, I think, it wrong. I think it's wrong. I think it's a good opportunity to get in for the next year. May not be the best opportunity for the next 72 minutes. And if we're going to decide the next 72 minutes is what matters, then why do we even come here? Let's just go listen to Gensler and listen to Druckenmiller and hang ourselves.
We're going to talk about
hanging ourselves. I got a tie. Isn't that what it's for?
We're going to talk about what Druck said this morning on Squawk. One last thing, Jim, on studios down 40. They're not alone in that. Quarter to date, North American box office is tracking down 48.
No, I mean, AMC's going to report this weekend.
All right, enough of the Disney talk here. We cut Disney Plus because it's woke garbage. The new Star Wars and Marvel content is ass. Wow. Okay. So, I guess some folks don't like it. Okay, let's see here. So, let's see here. Andy, did you miss me talking about Reddit? Because now you're spamming read super chat. I read it and talked about it, so maybe you want to rewind a little. I want a touchscreen MacBook Pro already. I will sell my Apple share if Apple partners with Rivian and not Tesla. Oh dear. Some high expectations there. Okay. What else? Then we have, when can we blame Disney subscription slowdown to the family budget cuts? That's fair too. That's a really good point. I mean, yeah, there's so many subscriptions to have these days. It's crazy. It drives people nuts because then when you look at, like, you make money and then after you pay for all your subscriptions, you're left with nothing. We canceled Disney in 2021, somebody here says. Kids love Disney Plus, somebody else says. B. Gates, Kevin. Gut, danke schön. Vielen Dank. New Star Wars. Bad Batch season was awesome. Somebody else says Disney is garbage. Pretty polarized, huh? My dad said something. No, I don't know anything about that. Kashgari yapping? Let's see if that's true. Somebody's going in on Neo calls. Let's look at what Kashgari might be saying. Fed. How are the Qs actually moving? Tesla down about 1.6. Nvidia down 1. But Nvidia's at 9.11. I mean, Nvidia's... They shot up from 850. Good lord, they did. Kashgari. Oh, yeah, he is yapping right now. Questions policy restrictiveness given inflation data. Housing resilience raises the question of the neutral rate. Modestly raised neutral rate to 2.5% from 2%. Hard to explain. That's not to be confused with inflation target. Hard to explain robustness of economic activity. Yeah? I mean, those are all fair comments. So, Kashgari of the Fed. Questions if policy is restrictive. Questions if disinflation is still underway. Yeah, keep in mind, he's one of the more hawkish Fed hawks versus doves. So, he is, let me see where he sits. He is seen as the fourth most hawkish, and he is not a voter until 2026. Not a voter until 2026. Fourth most hawkish member. There we go. And what else is he saying? Questions restrictiveness. Housing resilience. That's what it was. Housing resilience makes him question the neutral rate. Yeah, are you actually going to see that rollover of rents? Big question. Ooh, AMC reports tomorrow. You know, what you really need is to have confidence that AMC is not going to go bankrupt, right? That's what you need. I mean, you're $3 now. So let's see here. AMC Investor Relations. So they report tomorrow. Earnings call will be at 2 p.m. Press release. So their April press release. Oh boy. That is some crazy coloring on their website. Yeah, see, so you lost $163.5 million. Let me get the full statement here because this is nasty. Let's get their last quarterly filing. Oh, okay. Never mind. It's their annual, actually. So if I look at their... Okay. Really? You're going to download it as a zip file? I don't want that. I want the PDF. There we go. Okay. I guess I'll get the HTML version. Oh boy. Oh boy. I can't even scroll. It's so large of a file. All right, here we go. So, here we go. So revenue at AMC for the year ended 2023. Uh-oh. There we go. $4.8 billion, but their expenses are basically 4.9. Now that does include some impairments over here, but you might be able to get rid of some of the impairments and depreciation. So if you get rid of that, you know, you got an extra $400 million of income here. But even if you add back in depreciation, you're basically break even. So, and that's really because your costs are just going up. Food, exhibition, rent actually went down, so they're getting some rent concessions. But you are getting an increase in revenue. That's a nice increase in revenue here. Look at that. I got to give them that. That's a big increase in revenue in 2023 versus 22. That is an increase of 23%. Not bad. So, question now is how's their cash flow and their ability to survive? So that would be cash flow. Where is the statement of cash flow? Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. So cash flows, losing about $215 million is way less of a cash burn than they previously had. Plus the CapEx, you're still burning about $440 million. And that's per year. Yeah, $440 million per year. Current assets, they got about $884 million of cash. And current assets, 1.2. This includes receivables. So call it about, I'll just give it to them, 1.2 in cash, assuming they get all their receivables. Now I'm going to take off the payables of 320, accrued expenses of 350, deferred revenues doesn't count, maturing lease liabilities, it's about 508. They're going to burn their all of their cash is going to be gone by the end of the year. At this rate. So you got about, once you pay these liabilities, yeah, you do have cash flow, negative cash flow. Yeah, your cash is going to be gone this year. So they really need to show you in the report tomorrow that, you know, their Q1 is doing so well that they don't need to raise money. I think that's the standard for AMC tomorrow. So, or the bar. I'll look at volatility in just a sec, too. Just to see what's going on out there. AMC, but I would write that down and just say, AMC tomorrow needs to prove it isn't going to run out of money this year. Current assets versus cash flow and current liabilities suggest they will. When considering their 2023 annual report from February. So really, to me, I'd want to see a profitable business model, right? So return to profitability on operating income. I'm okay taking off depreciation. That's fine. So some form of return to profitability here and positive cash flow. Or like trending towards that, right? That would be huge for AMC. If you could pull that off, that company could actually, you could actually see a rally in the stock pretty rapidly. Because you have to remove that BK risk. That's my take on AMC. Removing the bankruptcy risk is critical. Okay, volatility tomorrow is expected to be, wow, 17.5% implied stock movement for earnings tomorrow. That's going to be wild. 17% implied. Average is 6. Average movement is 6.47%. So this is like 3x the volatility implied for AMC tomorrow. That's crazy. If I ran a theater, I would sell movie merch. Yeah, be careful with the licensing on that stuff, though, you know? Like, probably the reason they don't is because the licensing fees would be so expensive. Rivian reports after? Let's see. Yeah, let's see what their vol is. So, Rivian... average is 11.69. Oh, boy, I'm tired. And the current expected is basically 14.93. Yeah, very interesting. What's a good support line for Disney? Well, honestly, that I think it's a 107 line. Oh, you see it right here. Look at that. It's almost perfect. Broke past the 107. There you go. Just come. You need a line, just come to me. I'll get you a line. Oh, that doesn't sound right. Box office down 20% year to date. Is that true? Box office. Let's see here. Domestic yearly box office 2024. Ooh. Yeah, that's not good. To May 7th, you're down 23.4%. That's a really good point. So Box Office Mojo gives some data. For Box Office Mojo, ticket revenue down 23% year over year, industry wide. Yeah, that's a really good reference. That's a problem. That's probably why the volatility is so high. So then that makes you wonder, like, are earnings expectations low, right? Perhaps that's setting up low expectations. Is a setup for low expectations. It's a good one. All right. Okay, there we go. Next, we have 12 minutes to go until El Bello. Let's see what else there is. You're on the Cinemark monthly plan? Cinemark has a monthly plan? That's interesting. Let me see here. Cinemark monthly pass. So what is this? Movie Club. Oh, by the way, I hope y'all like my new fleece here. What do you think about that? Just got it back from the tailor. I think they did a pretty good job. Anyway. Movie Club. Celebrating 1 million members. 1 million! Movie Club members save $100 on tickets per year. You get 1 second ticket per month. Unused tickets roll over. Oh, that's cool. 20% off concessions. Waived online fees. I wonder how much they charge for that. I don't know. Just do it. Find Movie Club pricing. Wow. What's... Oh, okay, so you get a little bit of a discount if you'd go for the annual plan. You save about a month. Interesting. I mean, you're still paying for your ticket. It's really you're trying to get a free ticket every month and then save some of the fees. You really have to be going to the theater monthly, probably. Well, I mean, that's the point. They're trying to create some form of recurring revenue. I wonder if they have Cinemark. Let's see if I can get Cinemark investor relations here. Yeah, I got it. So here's their earnings release. What about... See, they had a decline in admissions for Q1, right? That's not good. That's probably that box office decline right here. But let's see Pass. If I look at Pass. That's it. Program. Monthly fee subscription program. Loyalty program. I want to see how much money they're making on that. Higher loyalty program. I think that'd be cool. See a little bit of the loyalty program info here, but I don't think they actually break it down. Darn them. Oh well. Then there's Jim.
The difficulty is what will be the bias of machine if it's teaching Tolstoy?
Okay, that's one thing to think about. But at some point, they'll be programming themselves. At some point, they'll be generating the large language model synthetic data that they can then keep learning on.
Right.
And by the way, you know, we've talked a lot about Blackwell, the chip coming from NVIDIA. You know better than anyone.
Yeah, we already covered Kashgari. He is the fourth most hawkish member. I don't think it's actually really affected the market so far. He's been yapping about not sure if we're sufficiently restrictive. You know, the Qs basically just went flat. Oh. All right. Let's keep going.
18 months.
So soon.
No, 18 months, and we're going to see things that we wouldn't believe. You're absolutely right, David. At the same time, well, I know we're going to commercial, and it's not the time to discuss what they think about the Shakespeare histories versus the tragedies. But David, they're going to make a mind of their own, and we don't know how they're going to come down, and that scares people, and perhaps it really should.
We'll also talk about Tesla sales in China versus the overall sales in that country as well on EVs. We'll get Cramer's Mad Dash countdown to the opening bell. One more look at the pre-market here as Squawk on the Street comes back after this.
Yep. So, all right. Let's see here. BT Sizzle. A bizarre little sell-off there, eh? There's always these early market movements here. 4 a.m. pump, 7:45 a.m. dump. The pump and the dump. See those just like every morning, it feels like. Where there are these bizarre little cycles that you go through. It's the volatility is part of the game. Quite a bit off those all-time highs, though. Getting a little bit of a trend here going to the downside, unfortunately. So, let's see here. Yeah, it's not that perfect. I don't like that line. Let's try here. If I go... Oops. Come on, Apple. Microsoft doesn't give me these problems. I'm going to have a talk here. Oh, that's interesting. You get a breakout on that line. Ooh, now that's an interesting one. Look at that line. So this blue line right here served as a resistance here, roughly. And this is drawn on the day chart. You broke out of it to get to new, back to nearly all-time highs. You are now bouncing off of it on the lows. I'm going to watch that line. I'm going to use this as like a... make it a slightly different color here. I'm going to make that line orange. I'm not sure about that one yet. I'll pay attention to that one. That's fascinating. Alright. What else? Any advice on where I could start my learning? My brother is into... What are you talking about? What process? Oh, somebody on Twitch wants to learn something. Fig Newtons are forever, says someone here. You know, the chat's always great. AI is such a misnomer. It's better to call it iterative intelligence, so I can hear a lot less dumb statements about it. Huh. That's interesting. I kind of like what Jensen said over at NVIDIA, where he basically says chatbots like LLMs, they're basically just imitators. They ingested a lot of information, and now they imitate us. So when we ask them a question, they kind of just give us, to some extent, what we would want to hear. Obviously, the goal would be to make that as functional as possible and factual as possible. But that is why you can create those hallucinations. So I love having conversations with like a GPT, but when it comes to the actual facts, yeah, I oftentimes still have to go back to my traditional research. Somebody here says, I personally believe crypto has found a near-term bottom. Could be a wild ride for the alts soon. Ooh. Let me see here. How are they doing? Coin market cap. How are we doing? Let's see how we're doing. Let's find out. So 7-day Solana's up 20% on the 7-day. That's pretty good. XRP 8, Doge is up 16. Wow. That's some movements here. Polka 15.6, near 23. The alts have actually had a really good 7-day stretch here. Oh, that Solana movement. Man, that looks like interest rates. Peak out. And now you're down, coming up again. Oh, look at this. Crypto Patel. Bitcoin has faced rejection at higher high and is testing trend line. Possibility we may retest the 57,000. Yeah. That doesn't... he's moving. His line is going to be a little bit more building a foundation under these lows here. But yeah, I agree with seeing some of these higher highs. It looks like he's pulling right through here. It's probably this one is probably... Yeah, I see what he said. So this is his higher high line right here. I agree with that. So I'm just extending out what we've previously had. We previously had this line. And then his lows here go back to here. This is what he's dragging through here. I can draw that too, but I always get nervous when I draw too many lines. So I'll probably just delete some of them. But let's see how he's doing this. So he's kind of moving through something like this. He's extending this out. That's roughly what we're seeing on his chart here. Yeah, I don't disagree with this. It's definitely in a clear downtrend. There's no doubt about that. I don't think he's wrong. So, got to basically break out of the 64.5 level is his take. Yeah, it was about $1,000 from where we are now. Probably not wrong. All right. What is this? Hanes underwear. Well, the underwork commentary. Selling May. Ooh, that's always such a popular line. Selling May, go away. Meet Heisenberg. Y'all are funny. Y'all funny. Alright, you know what it's time for? I think it's time for, can we do it? Get those trades ready. 10 seconds. Q's a rally.
It's 1-800-Flowers.com. Don't forget Mother's Day weekend approaches. The company does expect to deliver more than 20 million stems on the holiday this year. Jim, you mentioned Apple. There is the iPad event, which we'll see in about half an hour.
Right, and you're going to see some good things from that. I think that the people who were negative on Apple, if we can just go back in time again, what they were thinking, again, was the best times are behind them, that they didn't have AI, and that all you had to do was look at the numbers of the phone, and you should sell. This is no longer the case. Now you have to start thinking.
Jim Cramer sounds bullish on Apple. That's probably bad news, honestly. Anyway, the Qs just went green here by a bit, about 5-6 basis points. Let's see if that holds. Tesla, look at that. Look at that. It almost perfectly rejects at the 183. And now it's turning red. Apple moving up. The Q's moving up. You got Nvidia's trying to move up. Neo gives up a little bit of the rally we saw yesterday. Palantir, down 12% on Palantir. Keep in mind that if you haven't seen it yet, somebody asked here, for example, why is Palantir tanking? So I actually posted a video this morning already on the main channel. I highly encourage you to watch it. And it is, I did this. Take a look at this right here. So it's basically kind of a return of the Meet Kevin report. And so I did a bunch of segments here on Muslim immigration, Gaza protest, Israel ceasefire and funding, Buffett and Apple, election, Trump versus Biden, Trump jail, Putin nuclear threats, Scott Galloway. This was a really good piece. I like that. Economic data, Palantir earnings. So at the end of the video, if you want to watch Palantir earnings, I actually go through Palantir earnings. So I think you'd enjoy that. So check that out. And my goal is every single day now. I want to see if I can pull it off, but my goal is every single day to post some kind of Meet Kevin report, if you will. And a breakdown, a news summary of what's going on every single morning. So we'll see. All right, let's listen into Cramer for a moment.
China, but is he still Teflon figure, Musk?
Why is he? Do we think he is?
No, I'm saying is he still Teflon because he's obviously cerebral. I mean, how's cerebral versus cash flow?
Well, we know from the last. I mean, listen, it is a capital-intensive business. The last quarter, obviously, was well responded to by investors after the stock had been beaten down somewhat, 40%.
Well, as they're yapping here, you do see Tesla down about 2% right now as it got rejected almost perfectly at that 183 line. The Qs are actually moving up here. Tesla down. Look at that. Tesla tanks about 2%. Celsius down about 5%, also dropping lower. Piton on those buyout rumors moving up about 11%. Not as much as we saw pre-market, but moving here. Nvidia's coming back down, snapping back to some reality. But great company. I mean, I love Nvidia. Somebody donates $5 here. Would you trim Nvidia? Well, I don't know what your situation is, so I can't give you personalized advice. I personally think Nvidia in the 9s is a little rich. You know, I'm a fan of. I like to take a little bit and maybe give that to somewhere else that I think has a little bit of a value opportunity. That's my take. But I can't close out of Nvidia completely. I love that. That's just I have to stay exposed to Nvidia. You know, 8 to 10% maybe, something like that. It's good enough for me. But yeah, that's my take. That's not personalized advice. But I do think the AI valuations have run a little amok, a little too stretchy. So look at it. Look at Tesla here. Just really, you touch the 183. The moment we got rejected there, it's been down since. That's rough. Qs are already showing signs of topping. Not great. Palantir's getting stuck around that 1050-ish level. So I want to see if we've got lines here around that 2272. Let's just go out on the day chart for a moment. See what we got. So let me go average for a moment. 2272. Ew. Yeah, I mean, maybe over here. See, 2256, you had the close right here. Maybe. I mean, it's a level I've sat on over here. That bounce right there, that's pretty gnarly. And you just saw it again today. So that, I'm going to write that down as maybe a trade line. So I like to mark my trade lines as yellows. So I'm going to go 22, what was that close again? 2256. So I'll just go ahead and, let's go ahead and grab that horizontal line there. Slap it down right here. Change it to yellow. And then adjust it to 56. There we go. So we'll see if that's where it's behaving today as well. Ah, look at that. Let's see here. Let's go to non-average. Oh, yeah, look at that. Let's see how good that line is. And the way you'd know is if you test it again and you get rejected again. So at least I have something here. So I'll keep an eye on that. Again, my yellow ones are generally my least confident lines. Although the Tesla one, that one's becoming more and more confident. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that one right now to bluey because it just consistently plays that line. Or I'll do a turquoise. That way my fibs are blue and this is blue-esque. Okay, where's our Diz today? Almost down 3% now on Tesla here. Disney, Disney falls below that 107 level. We were really riding it there for a while. You got probably the next biggest catalyst here coming up. Ooh, Qs just cannot keep it up today. Oof. Probably your biggest catalyst coming up now is going to be inflation. So we'll watch really closely for what's going on with the inflation data. Celsius 7%, Nvidia, you've got 0.8 on Nvidia. Struggling as well to keep it up, but it's definitely up above that 911 range. You know, that 850 breakout is powerful. I just don't know how long it's going to hold. Ooh, nice bounce on the 113 line there on end phase. Look at that. It's literally perfect. To the penny perfect. Now, I've made a lot of money trading on bounces on lines like that before. You just kind of have to catch them as they're getting ready to happen. But that was to the penny perfect. We saw that live. Remember, join the Stocks and Psychology and Money group for all my buy-sell alerts. It's over at meetkevin.com. So, yeah, Disney's still giving up. Q's giving up. AMC prepping for earnings by giving up. Tesla's just going down. Reddit's down about 0.5%. Not a big deal. You've got Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia's trying to push. Can Nvidia go green today? Dave & Buster's has sort of been bleeding out since their earnings. GameStop comes down after a wild rally it had out of nowhere. Palantir cannot keep it up. That doesn't even want to go back and retest that line. Not great. Amazon's hanging out, 188. Apple's rallying into this event. Again, I still think buy a rumor, sell news, but is your course a one-time payment or subscription? One time. You know, I personally, I mean, you can, you know, if you really want to, you could like pay in 4 with like PayPal or whatever. But I'm not a big fan of subscription models. A lot of people are like, Kevin, you provide all this value long-term and people only paid you once. It should be a subscription model. I just always kind of went in with the mindset of like, if you pay once, you're paying for that faith that I'm going to keep providing value over time. And so my goal is to provide as much value as possible. And so some people have been part of the Stocks and Psych group since like 2019. It's kind of remarkable. So they've been getting 5 years of value, which is wild. In fact, when I did the events, the House Hack Roadshow event, people were coming up. They're like, "Look, Kevin, look at when I bought my Stocks and Psych course," and they show me on their phone their receipt from like 4 years ago. I'm like, that's crazy. It's kind of cool. So it's just like endless value. But that's my goal. I always want to, like, not trying to go down as the person who never makes mistakes, but the goal is to be the person that always provides value. Let's see here. Yep. TA is included. Yep. Good question. Trump is included. Let's see. Okay. Some things I'm not going to read out loud. Thoughts on Buffett going cash? I mean, he increased some cash here in Q1, partly because of tax reasons. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more cash too. Farmer Brett here says, joined at the beginning of 2021. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah. Luca, man, I hate using X though. Like, X is, what I find is using these apps, you have to like delete them from your phone. Otherwise, you just waste time on them. X, Instagram, and Facebook don't belong on your phone. You should only use them on the on a web browser. So otherwise, you just get sucked in. It's like they vampire you in. And then once you're in, you spend hours and hours and hours. It's crazy. Pretty sure I joined when you turned 28. Oh, that's awesome. That's 4 years ago. That's cool. Anyway. So, Crypto Trader says, just joined last week. Waited too long. Oh, well, thank you for that. Will says, Kevin, I appreciated the one-time charge, continuous value, and I don't feel like I'm being nickeled and dimed. Solid gun, no butter. Thank you, man. Appreciated that. I feel you. I deleted those apps many times, but I keep coming back. I know. That's the problem for me. And I'm not 33. What year are we in? I'm pretty sure I was born in 92. Yeah, that's the thing. They are vampires. You just, like, I have them installed right now, too. I'm going to delete X right now from my phone. And it's nothing against Elon. It's just, it's too much. But what happens is, so they pop back up on my phone when I have to post something sometimes. I can't do it from the computer as easily. Like TikTok. It's harder to uninstall, but I'm removing them right now. There, I did it. But you're right. They do just kind of like sneakily keep getting reinstalled. But you'll notice if you uninstall them, like you'll have this tendency of like opening your phone every time you go to the bathroom. And like when I look for apps, I use the little search feature. So like I'll always kind of like drag down on my phone, and then I hit the little, I'll type in like X. Haha, it's not there anymore. Now Xbox is there. I haven't used that app in forever. Anyway, sorry, little tangent. Okay, let's go back to the sticks here. So the Qs are going down still, 11 bips. Oh, look at that! Disney goes right back. That's crazy. So I feel like X has more useful information. X has useful like breaking news info, but you have to be careful because the stuff, the way it can get mischaracterized because of the way the algo works. You have to be careful about that. The algo really drive, and I'm not anti-X. Don't get me wrong. I like X. Just be careful. Sometimes the algo really drives, like snippy information that drives the wrong conclusions. Yeah, my phone knows what I like better than I do. The search tab. Yeah, I like the search tab. Most transparent homie out there. Oh, thank you for that. Will there ever be an app version of eHack one day? All right, let's focus on sticks here. So Tesla tried to recover. It's really struggling here. I don't know what it's doing. The Peloton thing I wouldn't touch. Nvidia back down. Couldn't keep it up either. The dreaded consolidation pattern. We saw that yesterday too. Although yesterday you had a decent day. Look at that. Holy smokes. See, this is how I've made money on Enphase before. I as soon as I see the bounce on the 113, calls. And it just works over and over and over and over again. Just freaking prints money. Elon said he was going to combat engagement farming, so it might be better in the future. Yeah, I doubt it. I love the courses, Kevin. Oh, thanks, Shannon. I appreciate that. Somebody here says Russia may launch nuclear strikes. Yeah, I covered that, actually. If you go to the main channel, I just posted this video right before I went live here. And so I talk about Putin nukes. I think that's right. Where is it? Here. Putin nuclear threats. See, I even have a concerned face. That's about 22 minutes in. Check that out. Again, my goal is to provide a video where you could just 2x it and spend like 15 to 20 minutes on 2x a day, just getting a full catch-up of everything that's going on. So that way you don't have to feel like you're like refreshing the news websites every 5 minutes in your life. It's just get your daily catch-up. That's my goal. So just go to the main channel and meet Kevin. Anyway, next. Go over here.
Palantir's a great company. The stock got ahead of itself, but I want to bank with Karp. I think he's a very bright man, and it wasn't a bad quarter, despite the fact that the stock looks like it is a bad quarter.
We didn't really touch on crude, still circulating around 79. It looks like there is activity in Rafah. They appear to have taken control of one of the border crossings with Egypt.
Yeah.
As these ceasefire talks yesterday were a mess.
It would be interesting if they opened the gate to Egypt, because Egypt doesn't want them at all, but I don't want to get too much in that. I do know that there had been a war premium, and the war premium has gone away. The Permian is pumping about 600,000 fewer barrels right now because of some different difficulties with pipes. David, oil is defying it. No one seems to know why oil's trading where it is, and we could ask Blackwell. Maybe that's what we have to do.
We'll be able to in a not too distant time.
Alrighty. So somebody says Amazon close to all-time high. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Amazon. Ooh, look at the Qs rising again. Getting a little left behind there on Tesla. Nvidia is trying to recover. Let's see here. Palantir. Look at that. As soon as you lost this over here, you just went into the toilet. Look at that Enphase rally. Wow. Are we going to get rejected at 119? Is that the time to short it? We shall see. ARM Holdings. Well, usually I like to use BTC as a leading indicator. And it's kind of telling me that the rally doesn't have much steam today. But we'll see. Sometimes it plays catch up. So it just depends. So let's see if we get rejected either here at the top of the candle or the top of the wick. Or are we going to break past it? Right now it looks like we're breaking past. Oh. See what happens. Nope, there it goes. Come on, push it. What are your thoughts on oil reserves? Biden will likely have to refill. That should drive prices up, right? Well, that's why they won't, right? So, they're just not going to refill it until the pricing's right, and it's not going to affect the market. Let's see here. Poking the World War III pair. Apple driving the rally. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, look at that rejection right there. I mean, we've been holding the mouse over it and just couldn't get past the mouse. Yeah, you could actually see the Apple event be a sell the news event. BTC turns out to be right, to be bearish today. And then what will happen is Enphase will crash back down to 113. Just saying. Just saying. It's the mighty mouse. That's right. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Trust the lines, brothers. These are the alerts that I send in the course member live stream. You should be part of them. Somebody's like 1880. Yo, Kevin, you don't fail to surprise. Yep, it's entertaining. All right, very well. I'm gonna go make some more coffee. We're gonna jump on over to the course member live. Let me see if there's any leftover news here. Remember to check the main Meet Kevin channel for. Ooh, Stormy Daniels testifies today. How fun! Check the Meet Kevin main channel so you could check out the Meet Kevin report. I put a lot of effort into it. Do course members get a discount to Millionaire Supposer? Email us at staff@meetkevin.com. What I really think would be useful is if you could give me feedback on that video. It would really help me out a lot because I want to do that Meet Kevin report every day. I think people will enjoy it. So I encourage you to check that out and then give me just a heads up on how to adjust it. So let me know. And let me see what last minute news we have here. I don't really see it. Let's see here. Talked about the Stormy Daniels set to testify. That's the biggest thing right now. Yeah. All right, let's push the button. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage the ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Yep. A lot of people, by the way, are wondering when the podcast is going to come back. We were in person and we were doing a lot of podcast events, we were doing a lot of the HouseHack Roadshow events. So a lot of people were asking, hey, like, when are those podcasts going to come back? There's good news. The answer to that is today. So if you're interested in the podcast, that will come back today, probably after the bell. So think like 1:30, and that'll be on this channel. We're moving it over to the Meet Kevin Live channel. So check that out. You can actually hit the remind me button as it pops up if you're watching on YouTube in just a moment. Boy, Enphase played these lines freaking perfectly, as usual. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you in the next